TCM 5764.
Hi, I'm Robert Osborne. On this Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, we're spending time with the magnificent Sidney Poitier. And up next, we have Sidney in the first of the 3 blockbuster movies he was seen in that one year alone of 1967. The other blockbusters being Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, which will be showing in just 2 hours, and the Oscar-winning Best Picture that year, In the Heat of the Night. So it was quite a 12-month period for Sidney. But standing tall with those other Poitier films of 1967 is our next one, To Sir with Love, made by Columbia Pictures, filmed on location in England, where the total story unfolds. Now, Sidney plays a man from British Guiana who's trained as a communications engineer, but has trouble finding work in London in that field. So he becomes a teacher, landing a job at a high school in London's tough East End area. And he has to teach a very unruly group of students, most of them white, and all of them born at the bottom of England's class structure and facing dead-end futures. But Sidney's character is not the kind of person to resist a challenge, so he begins using some unorthodox methods to get through to them. All this keep in mind in a movie that came out 12 years after Blackboard Jungle. So a movie about high school students versus a teacher wasn't entirely new material at that time. Nevertheless, once the head men at Columbia Pictures saw the completed film, they started having quite a few worries about it. They weren't sure American audiences would relate to a movie dealing with England's class system. Another worry was whether U.S. audiences would be able to understand their thick Cockney accents of some of the students. What the studio didn't count on, though, was the public's affection for Sidney Poitier at that time. At that point, it didn't really matter what the subject of the film was. People would go see it because Sidney was in it, and see the movie they did. Word of mouth on it was very strong, and it became a major hit. One of the lures for audiences was also the appearance of pop star Lulu in it. She plays one of Sidney's students. She also recorded the movie's title song, and it turned out to be a #1 record hit. So here's the film from 1967, Sidney Poitier in To Sir with Love.